So here's a question for you. What dominates internet traffic today? And I mean, absolutely dominates, right? Nothing else even comes close. So you're probably thinking YouTube, maybe TikTok, Instagram, Google. All wrong. You know what it is? It's actually email. Yes, email. And no, this is not a video from 2009, okay? This is 2025, and email still dwarfs everything else on the internet. And as leaders, most of us are completely missing this opportunity to connect with your audience or your congregation. So let's dig into the facts and what this means for you and your leadership. So you're probably asking, how dominant is email? Well, are you ready? 333 billion, with a B, emails are sent every day. And you're probably asking, well, how does that compare to everything else? Email is 13.86 times larger than text messages. Every day, there are 309 billion more emails sent than text messages. It's 39.2 times larger than the number of Google searches. Email is 66.4 times larger than the number of videos on YouTube. Yeah, it's way bigger than YouTube. Even when you remove spam, which is sure 45% of all email, legitimate email is still 7.6 times larger than texting, 21.5 times larger than Google searches, 36.6 times larger than YouTube. I mean, I know, right? I had no idea until I read the stats. So email is still king. It's kind of like the cockroach of the internet. You just can't kill it. Now, the problem is most leaders either ignore it or they hate it. If you really want to connect with an audience, the overwhelming evidence is you've got to do it by email. I mean, yeah, have your YouTube channel, do your TikTok, all that stuff, but you can't ignore it or hate it if you want to be effective. And speaking of email, one of my favorite things to do, I've got this newsletter that I send out every Friday called On the Rise. It's delivered every Friday. I feature the most fascinating, curious, and sometimes random content about faith, culture, and the future church and other topics I find helpful. If you like the content in the video, I'm confident you're going to love this email. In fact, more people will read that email on a Friday than watch this video. It's crazy. Over 110,000 people subscribe to my email newsletter. It's completely free. And if it isn't for you, you can unsubscribe at any time. No spam, no hassle. So check it out at the link in the description of this video, or go to On the Rise newsletter and join over 110,000 church leaders who get curated content, the best of the internet, delivered to them every Friday. So the question then becomes, well, what do you do with this? If you don't like email, but it's still king, how do you handle that? And I want to give you 4 tips that will help you leverage email so much better than if you just ignore it. So the first thing you should do is lean into the permission that people gave you, right? If you get an email opt-in on your website or however you get it, realize that you have got permission to talk to people. Now, this is a real challenge for a lot of content creators, right? Seth Godin years ago coined the phrase permission marketing. And when somebody gives you their email address, they're like, yes, I want to hear from you. But the challenge is, and I dealt with this for years, is I didn't like emailing people because I thought, well, I'm interrupting. And then every time you email people, you get unsubscribers. And it's like, I don't want to see that many unsubscribers. But here's the reality. People are saying when they give you their email, I want to hear from you. So that means you really have to take your email strategy seriously, particularly in light of the fact that it still dwarfs everything else on the internet. Yeah, social's sexy, but email is serious. And if you talk to anybody who's in e-commerce, they would say, if you want to make $1 on the internet, you have to have an email strategy. Like, social is not going to do it for you. The other thing about email is this is owned space, not rented. It doesn't have an algorithm, right? If you're on TikTok or Instagram, the algorithm changes daily. And I was listening to an interview with James Clear, one of the most influential leaders in the world, from Atomic Habits. And he was asked kind of a Faustian bargain question. If you could become Kardashian level famous on Instagram and get rid of your email list, or you only had your email list and you had to dump Instagram, which would you pick? James didn't hesitate. James Clear just said, hands down, email. You need to start taking your email strategy seriously. Don't just blow it off, and have the courage to start sending thoughtful emails. So the question becomes, well, what is thoughtful email? Well, that leads us to the second principle, which is switch your screen view. So what you want to do, and this is the problem why so much of email is spam, is you want to think about what your audience wants and needs, not just what you want to say, right? So what I do is I start using the word you. You might be thinking about, or you might be struggling with this problem, or you might not know. So many organizations talk about themselves. It's like, well, we've been in business for X number of years, and no. Talk about your audience instead. That's what you want to do. That leads us to the third principle, be helpful. Okay, spam is not helpful. You want to write emails people love reading. I love it. When I send out my newsletter or different emails that I send to my list, I'll sometimes get texts from a friend screenshotting my email saying, I love this. This is so great. I didn't know this, right? What you want to be is you want to be in your audience's corner. So you want to be helpful. You want to start using the word you want to switch your screen view, and you want to start taking email seriously. Really hope this helps you. Remember, email is not dead. It's very much alive, and nothing else is even close. So the question then becomes, what are you going to do about it? In the comments, let me know some of the strategies and approaches on email that have worked for you. And don't forget to check out my weekly newsletter, On the Rise, while you're at it.